start off with the conference board. Let's start off with the conference board, okay? What is the conference board? We have our amazing, beautiful Urban Dictionary of Economic Data. And here's a quick thing, right? As I was getting our Docker image for the database started and the Node application started, I did it through the command line, and I was like, oh, I need to pass the environment variables. And I quickly figured out, hey, I can just pass in this parameter to load up the .env file. I was like, what? I didn't know this. So you learn something new every single day, and that's why I love doing this work. I love hanging out with you guys, but I also love the opportunity of the things that I get to learn as well, all right? So with that being said, let's get started. Let's go with consumer. I just press enter. Consumer confidence survey. Is that the one that we're looking for? Let me see. Let me move this over to here. Consumer confidence survey. Let's pull that one up. And look at that. We have our little accordions that we implemented on Thursday. Isn't that cool? Isn't it so much? Where is Rod Brown when you need him to see what we've done? All right. So the economic indicator says the conference board's consumer. You know what? I should probably. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyways, my mind is working, right? So, can I make this bigger? Let me see. Let's go. Yeah, we can make it bigger. All right. So, says the conference board's consumer confidence survey is like a big poll to see how confident people feel about the economy. You know how we are about feelings over here. Every month, a group of people across the United States answer questions about how things are going in their lives financially and what they expect to happen in the future. They answer questions like, do you think jobs are easy or hard to find? Are you making more or less money than before? Do you think things will get better or worse in the next few months? From their answers, we get two main scores. Present Situation Index, the PSI. This score tells us how people feel about the economy right now, right? Right now, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but right now, right? And then we have the Expectations Index. This score is based on how people feel about the future economy, right? About their future self. So these scores help businesses and governments make decisions. For example, if a lot of people say they are worried about the future, businesses might not spend as much money on new projects. The survey acts like a mood check on the economy, helping everyone understand how Americans feel about spending money, finding jobs, and saving for the future. All right, so let's close that one and let's get an example. So we have the restaurant owner and the garbage truck driver. Which one should we go with? Let's go with the garbage truck driver, right? So why should a garbage truck driver care about how customers feel about the present situation and what they think about the future state of the economy? So for a garbage truck driver, the consumer confidence survey can provide useful insights. Let's say the survey shows that people are feeling less confident about the economy and might start spending less. Here's how that information might impact the garbage truck driver. So less waste from homes and businesses. We will spend less. They might buy fewer things. Fewer purchases mean less trash to pick up from homes as people buy less food or fewer packaged goods. Even businesses might create less waste if they're cutting back on supplies. The garbage truck driver might see a slight decrease in the amount of trash on their routes or on their routes. Is it route or route? I don't know, whatever. Changing in route patterns. If some businesses start closing or adjusting hours due to lower spending, the driver's route could change. They might have fewer commercial pickups or need to adjust the route to account for new stop times or different areas needing more attention. Job stability and insight. The survey could help the driver's company plan for the future. If confidence is low, the company might decide to delay any big purchases like new trucks and focus on making the current operation efficient. This might reassure the driver that their job is stable, even if the company isn't expanding or making big investments at the moment. So knowing how confident people are about the economy can help a garbage truck driver understand changes in their workload, route, and even the company's plan for the future. So if anyone knows, your car, maybe you know this, but let's say, so I understand where you have waste management for it's for residential areas contracted through the city, but for businesses, right? And maybe like apartment complex, do they contract with like the waste management, for example, where they are paying directly to the to the sanitation company or the garbage company to come and pick up the garbage at their location on a scheduled date and time? Or is that also managed through the city? I really don't know for sure. I'm just curious about that. But I just thought about it right now. I'm like that. Like I would expect that they probably contract one on one with these different companies, but I really don't know. So if you know, please let me know. But and we'll check that after. But so look at that. Isn't that cool though? Like you see, I always get impressed by the code and by the design that like now we just implemented the other day and we're using it. So this is amazing to me. But let's jump into the results of the survey. And by the way, I was talking to your car the other day, and one thing that I added to the backlog, I have it right here in the backlog. Oops, wrong backlog. Let's go to. I have it right here in the backlog. Do I have it in the backlog? Yep. Add React modal to load the web page in the app. So in the future, I don't know, maybe next week, or maybe this coming Thursday or the Thursday after that, what I want to do is when you click on this link over here, we have a little modal open up on like over here, and it gives us this page right there, so we don't have to actually open a new tab. We stay all within the website. That is what I have on the backlog to do. We're gonna work on that on a Thursday night at some point, but just little enhancements as we go along, because when I'm doing this show, I want to have the most efficient experience, for myself and for you, right? So. But for now, let's go to the new tab, right? So let's see where we're at. Consumer confidence. Let me see where. All right. So latest press release updated. So U.S. consumer confidence improved again in November. Labor market So this was Tuesday, November 26, 2024. Labor market optimism drove up confidence for a second straight month. So. Telling you, all right. The Conference Board Consumer Confidence Index increased in November to 111.7. The 1985 gauge is 100. So if it's over 100, it is good. If it's lower than 100, then it is on the decline, all right? So up 2.1 points from 109.6 in October. The Present Situation Index, based on consumers' assessment of current business and labor market conditions, increased by 4.8 points to 140.9. The expectation index based on consumer short-term outlook for income, business, and labor market conditions ticked up 0.4 points to 92.3, well above the threshold of 80 that usually signals a recession ahead. So we're above 80. So it looks like that we hopefully not. Hopefully we do not get a recession, but people are feeling optimistic about it. The cutoff date for preliminary results was November 18th, 2024. Consumer confidence continued to improve in November and reached the top of the range that has prevailed over the past 2 years, said Dana M. Peterson, chief economist at the Conference Board. November's increase was mainly driven by positive consumer assessment of the present situation, particularly regarding the labor market. So we shall see next week when the job numbers come out if it correlates with the people with what Dana M. Peterson is saying here, right? It says compared to October, consumers were also substantially more optimistic about the future job availability, which reached its highest level in almost 3 years. Meanwhile, consumers' expectation about future business conditions were unchanged, and they were slightly less positive about future income. Among age groups, November's gains were led by a large jump in confidence of consumers under the age of 35 years old. Meanwhile, confidence among consumers aged 35 to 54 declined slightly after surging last month. All income groups reported higher confidence except those at the very top earning over $125,000 a year and bottom earning less than $15,000 per year. On a 6-month moving average basis, householders aged under 35 and those earning over 100K remained the most confident. Shout out to them. Alrighty then. So Peterson added, the proportion of consumers anticipating a recession over the next 12 months fell further in November and was the lowest since we first asked the question in July 2022. Consumers' assessment of their family current financial situation fell slightly, but optimism for their finances over the next 6 months reached a new high. That's awesome. These measures are not included in the calculating the consumer confidence index. So let's take a look at the chart real quick. In 2007, it was at like over 100, and then in 2009, it dropped down to a little between maybe it looks about 30, about 25, maybe. Oh my goodness! And then then it had a steep climb mid 2009, and then it was going up, and then we got oh my goodness, consumer confidence in 2008, like mid 2018, was like almost off the chart, almost off the chart. Look at that, look at that. But I mean, but between I've heard that it was the worst time in American history between 2016 and 2020, but consumer confidence was at the all-time high 2000, like right mid of 2018. And then in 2020, it dropped around the pandemic time, and then it was pretty much sustainable to 2021, and then it spiked back up in mid 2021, and then it dropped 2022, and it's been like balancing. It's been hovering up and down, up and down, up and down ever since. All right, so interesting to see. All right, so let's see. So we're here. Consumers became even more optimistic about the stock market. 56.4% of consumers expected stock prices to increase over the year ahead, another record high for this measure. Only 21.3% expected stock prices to decline. The share of consumers expecting higher interest rates over the next 12 months declined to 43.6%. I wonder why. I wonder why that the share of consumers expecting higher interest rates dropped so dramatically. The share expecting lower interest rates increased 34.6%. Interesting. Meanwhile, average 12-month inflation expectations. What the heck is that? What is that noise? Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Anyways. So that declined. All right. So meanwhile, the 12-month inflation expectation declined 5.3% last month to 4.9% in November, the lowest since March 2020. In addition, references to inflation and prices declined in write-in responses as attention and focus shifted to the U.S. November elections. However, elevated prices remain top of mind. In a special question about concerns and hopes for 2025, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations of 2025, consumers overwhelmingly selected higher prices as their top concern and lower prices as their top wish for the new year. That is one of my top wishes as well. This was true across all incomes and age groups. The same question if we can get our eggs back down to $3.50 for a carton, then that will be a win in my books, right? So that same question found higher taxes, wars and conflicts, and social unrest are other major, although less acute, concerns for consumers. I mean, honestly, I have not seen that much crazy social unrest the past couple of weeks. People thought it was going to be crazy out there, but it looks pretty quiet. It looks pretty celebratory, right? Meanwhile, household finances completed the top of consumers' wish list for 2025, including being able to save more money, paying lower taxes, and paying off debt. Yes. Save more money, paying lower taxes. Please, let's pay lower taxes. And then paying off debt. Yep. I think saving more money and paying lower taxes will help pay off debt if you do not go and splurge that money out. All right. So on a 6-month moving average, purchasing plans for homes stalled in November, while purchasing plans for autos were up slightly. When asked about plans to buy more durable goods or services over the next 6 months, consumers continue to express a slightly greater preference for purchasing goods. In addition, more consumers expressed uncertainty about future purchases. Consumers buying plans for most appliances and electronics were down. Regarding services, consumers' priorities were little changed, but they plan to spend a bit less in most categories going forward, except for travel and healthcare. Next, in writing responses about politics, including November elections, surged to above 2020 levels, but were below 2016 levels. So present situation, consumer assessment of current business conditions improved in November. 21.3% said business conditions were good, down from 22% in October. 15.3% said business conditions were bad, down from 16.7%. So that's good. Consumers' appraisal of the labor market improved in November. 33.4% of consumers said jobs were plentiful, down 34.1% in October, and 15.2% of consumers said jobs were hard to get, down 17.6%. So it's like both of them were down, right? People saying that it was plentiful, but also people saying that it was hard to get. And it was a lot lower in the down that were plentiful versus the down that were hard to get. So that's a good thing. And if we look at the present situation index, we have 2007, a big drop, and then it went up and then dropped, similar to the other one that we looked at. But then the expectations index, the expectations were higher here. Oh, it's pretty interesting. So this is pretty interesting, right? The expectations were lower in 2007, and the present situation was higher. And then in 2009, the expectations were a lot higher, and the present situation was a lot lower. But then when we come around to 2015, 2016, the present situation was a lot higher, but the expectations were a lot lower. So that's interesting to see, right? That's interesting to see. And then it was kind of stable around pandemic time, and then the expectations throughout the whole 2020 to 2024 were a lot lower than the present situation. So that's pretty interesting information right there, right? Expectations 6 months hence. Customers remain optimistic about the business conditions outlook in November. 23.5% of consumers expected business conditions to improve, up 21.1% in October. 15.2% expected business conditions to worsen, up from 13%. Consumer assessment of labor market outlook continued to improve. 21.7% of consumers expected more jobs to be available, up from 18.4% in October. 17.8% anticipated fewer jobs, up from 16.2%. Consumer assessment of their income prospects were slightly down in November. 19% of consumers expected their income to increase, down from 19.5% in October, and 11.8% expect their incomes to decrease, unchanged from October. Right? I think that's lastly we have assessment of family finances and risk and recession risk. Consumer assessment of their family conditions were slightly less positive, so families believe they're doing worse. Consumers were more optimistic about their family's expected financial situation in November, so as expected. Perceived likelihood of a U.S. recession over the next 12 months fell to a new low in November. Pretty low over there. And that is it. So let me know your thoughts on the Conference Board and their consumer confidence survey. Do you think that it's in line with what you're seeing, or do you think that their study is flawed? Let's go back to full screen. All right, let's see what we got going on. I don't really like this full screen view, to be honest with you. Let me see something. I don't like this full screen view. Anyways, I'm gonna switch it. I really don't like this full screen view. Sorry to say. It really bothers me. I'm gonna switch my full screen view. Give me a second. Give me just a split second. Let's go here. We're gonna go back to this full screen view. That is way more. I don't know. I just like this way more better, right?
It's Tech Coach Ralph TVV. Yeah. Men lying, women lying, numbers manipulate. Don't matter what no one say, I throw the stats away. No need for calculators, we already greater. No need to validate us. It's Tech Coach Ralph TV. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop yawning. Get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch and Yakar, that's how it be. Shooting galaxies from their hands, it's Tech Coach Ralph TV. You don't need to grab your remote because you'll be floating free. Don't gotta worry about negative forces, it's positivity. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop yawning. Get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop the yawning. But I get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Men lie, women lie. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Men lie, women lie. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch and Yacht Car, that's how it be. Shooting galaxies from their hands, it's Tech Coach Ralph TV. You don't need to grab your remote because you'll be floating free. Don't gotta worry about negative forces, it's positivity. Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch and Yacht Car, that's how it be. Shooting galaxies from their hands, it's Tech Coach Ralph TV. You don't need to grab your remote because you'll be floating free. Don't gotta worry about negative forces, it's positivity. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop yawning. Get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Yeah, number manipulate. Yeah, numbers manipulate. Yeah, numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate.